What's up, everybody? Welcome to another brand new live episode of Strong Style here this week on the Outlaw Nation channel. So much to get into today. Can't wait to get into it. Let's introduce ourselves first. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, writer, producer, and host here on the Strong Style Crew show. Aaron Turner, how are you, man? How you feeling?
Sun's out, guns out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I need to do a roll-up situation here.
I mean, come on, let's do it.
And in one of those rare moments, both Aaron and Chris Burns are in the same damn state right now. Chris Burns, how are you? How are things?
Feeling good, just taking in the Miami weather. It's hot as balls outside, and so let's get to it.
Hence the tank.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it's getting hot out there. It's going to get hot on this show for sure for some of the subjects we're going to be tackling. We're going to talk about some of that Vince McMahon stuff. The Wall Street. I subscribed to the Wall Street Journal yesterday just so I could read this stuff. Hey, $4 a month's not going to kill me. So I'm like, okay, let me read this whole article. Pretty eye-opening article. We're going to definitely jump into that. We're going to talk about the results from Dynamite, SmackDown, Raw. We're going to get into so much more other stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling as well. Certainly the Money in the Bank, Fallout, and our reactions to the winners of all of that. So certainly a lot to talk about. Plus, we're going to answer your Streamlabs and your Super Chat questions. So start sending them in now. You see the Streamlabs address right above Aaron's head. I'm going to pin it in the chat as well. So start sending in questions, comments, and thoughts that you want us to address here on the show. Aaron, I remember to hit a like as we go along as well. Aaron, where shall we start, my man?
All right, let's talk about Money in the Bank. Happened in Las Vegas last Sunday. They originally were going to do the event at I think it's T-Mobile Stadium, in Las Vegas where the Raiders play. But due to ticket sales, even though they'll say it was some other reason, they moved it to an inside venue. I believe it was the MGM Grand Garden. I could be wrong. Right. But that's what happened. And let's talk about the winners and the losers and what happened. First, starting off with Liv Morgan winning the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The Usos defeating the Street Profits to retain the undisputed tag team titles, or did they? Bobby Lashley defeated Theory to win the United States Championship. Bianca Belair defeated Carmella to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey defeated Natalya to retain the SmackDown Women's title, only to be cashed in on by Liv Morgan, who rolled up Ronda to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then in the main event, it was the 7-man ladder match that turned into an 8-man ladder match when Theory was added, and he ended up winning the whole damn thing. So that's Money in the Bank. Shorty, what you drank? Tell me what you think.
Take it away, Chris. Thoughts on this pay-per-view overall and the results that came out of it. Go ahead, my man.
Classic WWE.
Yeah.
Put a card together that looks like complete trash. Under promise, over deliver. Yeah. Because I gotta admit, I had a really good time watching this pay-per-view. Yeah. I had texted you guys while it was happening, like, oh, they know that this is a bad card, so now they're just going with the feel-good moments, and that's kind of where it was at. Liv Morgan winning the Money in the Bank was a feel-good thing based, we talked about it the week before about how the fans, she has this, whether we understand it or not, there's a big underswelling of fans that just love Liv Morgan. Yeah. And, she's Bullet Club adjacent. So I'll give her a little bit of love. Adjacent. So that was a big feel-good moment. Bobby Lashley unexpectedly winning the United States Championship. That was a great feel-good moment. And also, again, what we've talked about on the show, bigger deal wrestlers need to win mid-card titles so that the titles mean more. And there's a stat that came out. Bobby Lashley has not been pinned in almost a year or something like that. If you think about it, when was the last time you saw his shoulders hit the mat? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's been a minute. That's great. So perfect guy to carry the U.S. title right now, really, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't understand how the Usos and Street Profits can continue to have such good matches. They have wrestled more times than I've been drunk in Miami. And it's unreal how the chemistry that those guys have, and they put on another banger. What else can you call it but an absolute banger? Kind of let down by the finish, but obviously it's going to continue and it's going to keep building, as we kind of saw on the weekly TV this week. Even though they gave us that false, there's tension between the Street Profits for no reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it was like, show us, don't tell us.
Right.
So that was another great match. Bianca and Carmelo was, a little bit of a bathroom breaky.
You knew it.
I wasn't even mad at the Ronda Rousey Natalia match. I mean, quite literally, the only problem with it for me was no one in the world believed that Natalia was going to win. Not a single human person. Yeah. And so it's hard to build tension when it's like one of the competitors has no chance, and not even in a feel-good type of upsetty way. So then when Liv cashed in, granted, they've done this at, I think, the last 4 Money in the Bank pay-per-views.
Feels like it.
It was still somewhat surprising because Liv, the way they booked her, it feels like she was going to be one of those get your hopes up and then take it away from you. Money in the Bank winners. And it still may happen because she's facing Ronda one-on-one at the next pay-per-view. So, so it didn't seem like she was actually going to win it when she cashed in. And then great way to build our anticipation by having Ronda pick the leg and look like she's going to tap her even though she's cashing in. So that was a good moment too. We'll see how Liv does as a champion. And maybe this is what it is. This is her chance to either show improve or fall flat on her face. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Theory, I've told you guys several times, I don't care about Theory. I don't care about him. It's forced. Even the storyline in a meta way it's that he's being forced on us. Yeah, I just give me Ricky Starks all day over this guy. Whatever. He's the Money in the Bank guy. I get it. Heels are better with the Money in the Bank title. He wasn't even supposed to be in the match. That's supposed to give us more heat. Whatever. I didn't care.
Yeah. All right. So here's my thoughts on it. You're absolutely right, Chris. Way better pay-per-view than it had any business being. And certainly, and I regret it because I was going to go live and do a Twitch watch along. And I look at the matches. I'm like, it's going to be kind of boring. I don't think I'm going to do it. And then, of course, all this shit happens. And I was like, God damn it. I always doubt the WWE. Always when you think it's going to be great, they'll disappoint you. When you think it's going to be terrible, they might surprise you. So you got to take your chances. Lesson learned for me on my end. So I'll say this. The Money in the Bank matches, I thought both of them were damn good matches with some great spots. Surprised at the 2 winners. I didn't predict either one of the 2 winners, but I did think that if Bobby Lashley lost, then that opened the door for Austin Theory to find his way back. I mean, that did open the door for Austin Theory to go for the title. I didn't think he'd go for the Money in the Bank. I didn't think they'd put him in the match. So I thought they were paving the way for Theory for sure, and maybe setting up him versus John Cena. But him getting the case, I did not see coming at all. And that was kind of a bit of a swerve for me. Definitely thought the Usos and the Street Profits were going to tear down the house. And sure enough, they did it. Those guys just love wrestling each other. And sometimes you can see wrestlers, you're like, God, again. But other times you just go, yes, one more time. Like, I'll never have enough of Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I'll just never have enough of that. You can put it in the street with 10 people watching. I don't care. It's going to work for me. So I think the Usos and the Street Profits are the same way because those guys always want to one-up what they did before. And so there's a sense of real professional pride that you see come through when you're watching matches like that. And I think that's why they almost always deliver versus expectation. So I appreciate that. No surprise with Bianca getting that victory. That's a good thing. Keep her title reign going. Unfortunate injuries and all that kind of stuff. They couldn't give her a stronger opponent there. And Carmella being what she did. And Carmella was kind of a chicken shit heel, which kind of worked as well. Ronda Rousey defeating Natalia was no surprise. I thought the surprise could have been Natalia winning, but in the end. So let me have my thoughts. Theory, no surprise. The Vince stuff is real. They see him as the next thing, the next Cena. It's ironic. All of that Cena's coming back as Theory is on the ascension. It's very much now Cena being Kurt Angle. Theory is now the John Cena of that situation. So no surprise when he got in there. I knew he was going to win. As soon as I saw it on the Twitter, he was in. I knew he was going to win. No surprise. The Liv Morgan thing surprised me. And I'll tell you this, and I'm really struggling with my feelings because I don't want to be mean to a wrestler like this who has worked hard, and she's legitimately worked hard to get over. But by the same token, she's a glorified mid-carder who has 1 to 3 botches per match. And so to me, I don't have that same kind of thing. And then for her to shoot her mouth off like she did on the bump, well, people want me to be champion. Sure, that's nice. How about you reach the levels that Charlotte Flair does in a wrestling ring, deliver some semblance of a classic match like Charlotte has had numerous times in her career. Even Ronda, who's not the best, Ronda legitimately can kick your ass in real life. So there was my problem. And the way they had her win it, Ronda wasn't incapacitated. She wasn't like knocked out. She wasn't like, it would have been different. And it was a simple kick to the knee. And then she broke out of the ankle lock of Ronda Rousey. I just thought it was too unbelievable. And yes, I know it's wrestling. I know it's predicted and written out. I know all that. It just didn't feel like it was the right coronation in the end. They just wanted to give her the belt. And let me remind you of this situation. As she's crowing, everyone's going crazy. Remember this situation? Remember how long this fucking lasted? And so I feel the same way about Liv Morgan here. Winning the belt is all this stuff is happening. And as Chris pointed out, she's facing Ronda Rousey next. And what is she going to do after winning Money in the Bank, after winning the belt now, and facing Ronda Rousey one-on-one? If she loses, then we're going to have this all over again. So to me, it's not enjoy the month, because if they give it back to Ronda to set up Charlotte coming back to face Ronda down the road, then it was a nice month of dreamland that we had with Liv Morgan as the title holder, and she'll never sniff the belt again. And Bayley's coming back, and don't tell me they're going to put Bayley in the picture. So to me, it's nice for the people who love Liv Morgan, and apparently there's a lot of people who love Liv Morgan for some reason. But in the end, it's not going to last. And if she doesn't deliver in this pay-per-view match, if her merch doesn't start selling even more, if the numbers aren't coming in, that belt's not going to stay around her waist that long. You know, sometimes we've seen this in wrestling. We love the journey. Once they achieve the prize, all of a sudden we don't care anymore, aka Dallas, aka Hangman Page, Adam Hangman Page. So just throwing it out there. Aaron, your thoughts on Money in the Bank and everything that happened?
Street Profits and Usos. I mean, just great match. Great. Yeah. God, what a great match. And we called it. I think Rocha called it, said it's going to be a banger. It's going to be the best match on the card. And it absolutely was. It's like Usos and New Day. Like, they can never have a bad match. And
agreed.
A million times.
So
good. I'm sorry they're saddling the New Day with the Viking experience, but it's bad. But like, Bianca deserves better. She beat Carmella pretty easily, kind of a wet fart ending. And then Carmella like got the better of her. I was like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
What else did I want to say? So Bobby Lashley winning is great. Doesn't need to be more to be said about that.
Right.
If you look at Bobby Lashley as as a physical specimen, if wrestling was real, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote real. Nobody could beat that motherfucker. Like,
That's
he's
true.
so big, so strong, so fast. You could no one could beat, maybe Brock, but like,
and
in a legitimate, in a legitimate fight, 95% of the world cannot beat this man. And so that's great. I'm glad to see. He should have beat Theory. I'm glad he did. I'll say this about the men's Money in the Bank. Theory being the Money in the Bank holder, it does nothing for me, because I don't think he's going to be world champion. I don't think he's going to cash it in and win. I think it's just all going to come crashing down for him. I like that someone on the internet said that Austin Theory is basically Sammy Guevara with selfies. I was like, they're both insufferable. Cool. But anyway, the women's Money in the Bank is where I want to spend, of course, most of my time.
Yeah.
Because, and I hate to do this because she's my people, but Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi had the chance on a giant stage to show what she could do, because she hasn't been like prominently featured on SmackDown since she got called up. And I was like, okay, this is a big opportunity for Shotzi. She can see what she can do. And she about killed Alexa Bliss. And then she tried to run up a ladder and probably hurt herself even worse. And it just did not go well for her. And I feel bad for her because that was her opportunity. But like,
well, she spoke out about it too, Aaron. She kind of like confronted the criticism head on. So that speaks volumes about her, I think.
She also dogged Chris Jericho and other people for fucking up. So
she did. You're right about that. Yeah.
Also, we didn't really talk about this, but Raquel Rodriguez got a big pop. When she came out, she got a big pop. I was like, wow, people really like Raquel. That's
Raquel.
Something to keep in the back. Exactly. Something to keep in the back of the mind there. I don't like her smiling though. Like, stop that. Like, she's got a beautiful smile. She's a beautiful woman. what the fuck? She looks like a Tickle Me Elmo. I don't know, but anyway,
this is the only man in history who's telling a woman to smile less. Go ahead. Yes.
Well, I mean, she's so intimidating. Like, just roll with that. Like, I don't get it. But anyway, Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank is just, you know how I feel about it. So I'm not going to dog on that. Honestly, like it's a change. It's something different.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to dog on it is Ronda Rousey being rolled up by Liv Morgan and pinned doesn't even make me mad. The part of it that makes me mad is that Ronda like hugs Liv afterwards, gives her the belt, like holds her hand. I'm like, if somebody had beaten me for something in like kind of a nefarious way as Money in the Bank is kind of formatted, why didn't Ronda just beat the living shit out of Liv Morgan right then and there? Like, why didn't she just beat her to death? You want to talk about getting sympathy on your baby face? When Ronda Rousey just takes advantage of you now and beats the shit out of you, why does WWE want to make Ronda a babyface? She's not. So stop it. And that's my big point. Like, Ronda should have stomped her guts in.
Right.
And then she comes out on SmackDown last night and she's just like, yeah, Liv beat me. It happens. Screw you, Natty. And it's like, what? She should be furious that this happened. And she's just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, let's have a conversation about that. And Chris, chime in on this as well. I mean, I know there are moments in professional wrestling where you kind of break the character, you break the moment, and you get the hug, right? When all the four horsewomen came together and hugged and all of that, like those are those moments that matter. Ronda, who's barely been champion for about a few months, I mean, essentially handing over the belt to Liv, it felt a little bit like, one, she's stealing the spotlight a little bit from Liv's moment to be a part of it. Two, it's almost like she, and some people are saying that Ronda called the spot to was okay with Liv rolling her up to get the pin. Great. But then Ronda standing, it's almost like it's the hug and all. It's got killing the moment, to be honest with you. I agree with you, Aaron. I thought it was really, really odd. Just let her have the moment. She won. She beat you. Roll out of the ring. Do your thing. This isn't like you've held the belt for 20 years and someone beat you. Finally, you can stand in the ring and go, I respect what you did. Like Hogan and Rock. Like, that makes sense. Those moments have to happen at like legendary situations. Liv winning the belt from Ronda, which Ronda might win back a month later, does not strike me as a legendary situation. So I did think it was kind of odd on so many levels. Either they felt they haven't gotten Ronda over enough as a babyface, or they felt that Ronda confirming Liv Morgan's victory and saying it's okay with it was a way to give it even more legitimacy when they knew people were going to be coming after that possibility who aren't Liv Morgan stans. What do you think about this, Chris? This moment, Chris?
It felt like a Vought American sort of Homelander style, like publicity stunt, where it's like, see, I'm not evil. Like, it's all about evil. Look how cool, look how cool I'm being. Like
Ronda Lander.
Yeah, because like the whole thing about Ronda is like, while she's a natural heel, she doesn't like being a heel. She does not like being booed.
Yeah.
We've seen her get completely rattled when an audience is just giving it to her and she doesn't know how to deal with it on the mic. So I think she's trying to avoid those situations at all costs. So she's not dumb. She sees that there's a big fan following for Liv. And so she's just kind of like, if I co-sign it, maybe this will keep people on my side.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And, but it's completely antithetical to what wrestling psychology and heat are.
Yeah.
The heat is, to your point, Aaron, her beating the dog shit out of Liv after it happens and being mad. WWE in general doesn't see, like, champions don't seem bothered when they lose their belt. Kofi Kingston never one time was upset that Brock squashed him for the world title. He never brought it up ever. It is just like, again, the whole paradigm of WWE is broken because it's like it doesn't seem like the wrestlers want to be world champion unless they are world champion, and then when they lose it, they don't even care anymore. I don't know, but the main reason that the Liv handshake hug thing doesn't work because there's no backstory.
Yep.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
it's been history between Ronda and Liv
Yeah.
Sure. You know what I mean? Like, Sting beats Flair last episode of Nitro. They hug, they hate. You get it. They've been at each other's throats for 20 years, Yeah. The Hogan Rock, like, come on, Hogan's an icon. Rock's the new icon. They just did this double switch thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shake the hand. It's good. If Ronda had maybe been like, I don't know, like coming in and like saving Liv from beatdowns or like something like that to establish that there was some kind of relationship, it would have made sense. But there's nothing. There's literally nothing. There's nothing to go off of. Why does Ronda care about Liv Morgan? Why does she co-sign Liv Morgan on camera? Like, there's nothing there. So it just falls completely flat. And it's just like dumb. So, if you guys want to photo manipulate Ronda as Homelander, I'm all for it, by the way.
Rousey Lander. I like it. I like that idea. And look, let's address something else that's a part of this. Look, we're not trying to take the shine away from Liv. As I said, she worked hard. Certainly everyone tells you how hard she's worked. Everyone tells you how much she's improved. And as much as she's improved, it's still not 100% A-level quality in the ring. Right. This is not Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha. This isn't that level yet. And yet still people go crazy over the fact that she won so much of the WWE posted this picture officially on their account. I mean, they are pushing her so big. Chris, Aaron, there's not a black person on this picture here.
Where's Bianca?
Really. Where's the better champion?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
where's Becky?
It's such an odd thing to see here. How they're pushing their white princess after they had their 2 issues with their 2 female black wrestlers. Now, I'm not saying anything here in the supposedly, but the optics of it all is just kind of really uncomfortable for me to look at because they haven't yet dealt with the Sasha and Naomi stuff at all. And we're hearing they've internally been removed and all this kind of stuff from the sites and everything like that. So it's just an odd situation and they're going crazy over Liv. And I wonder if this was a part of it. Like, let's, battle back against this publicity by giving her the belt. Vince has got all this shit going on, which we're going to talk about on the show as well. Let's let the fans go crazy about the fan favorite that they have, even though we didn't have plans for her winning the title. Let's just give it to her for now and see what happens over the next few weeks. So for me, I was just like, all right, fine, sure. But it wasn't convincing. And also, she got her ass kicked all over that Money in the Bank match. I was like all over it before she finally went and got the belt. So it wasn't even a commanding performance in either situation. So I get it, but I think there were more deserving in terms of talent and ability wrestlers in that Money in the Bank women's match than Liv. But, that rarely means they should win the belt, right? Or rarely means they win the belt or win the case. For sure.
And much respect to her though for hitting the spot when it mattered.
Yeah, right.
That's a dangerous ass spot.
That was cool.
Kick the rope, and you know what I mean. Like if that would have went wrong in any way, and we would have been all over Liv. So based on her being able to pull that off at the big moment, props, kudos. You better keep it up though, seriously, because as of right now, and who the fuck am I? But it doesn't seem like to me you're a world champion.
Yeah.
And and she did a flipping power bomb on Lacey too, right? That was nice on the ladder. Let's not forget that I think it was it last year or the year before who won the Money in the Bank, and that was Nikki ASH.
Right.
And she cashed in and won the title. And I said back then, all right, this is a litmus test. We're going to find out real quick if they're going to go with Nikki ASH or not.
Yeah.
And they did not. So I'm not saying that Nikki and Liv are in the same position. They're not. I think Liv has much bigger following currently than Nikki ASH. It's going to be another litmus test. It's like, okay, we gave your fan favorite the belt. What can she do with it?
Right. We're going to see. Zoom, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Charlotte is not better than Liv. What the fuck? Zoom.
Wildness.
Dude, go get seen by a doctor for your head trauma, because that makes no sense in any way, shape, or form, bro. There's not one classic Liv Morgan match you can even remotely point to, and there are multiple Charlotte Flair classic matches you can point to for sure. Let's hit some of these super chats here before we move on to the next subject here. Ranger Donald said, why don't they let any women keep the briefcase for more than one day other than Carmella? Ooh, excellent points.
It's a solid point. Like we just pointed out, like Chris pointed out.
Yeah.
Nikki ASH, Asuka kind of defaulted to that.
Right.
And then Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, all cashed in like the same day.
Right. That's a great point. Yeah, I know. What's the obsession with that? Thoughts on that, Chris?
They'd have to be bothered to do some character work and
more than one
storyline, and I don't know.
Than one female storyline.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if they're interested in that. If I had been booking it, I would have. Honestly, if I was booking it, I would have done the same thing they did with Theory, but I would have did it with Mandy Rose and Toxic.
That's a good point. That's a great.
And I would have had her win the belt because they are bereft of top female stars at the moment.
Yeah,
Charlotte's gone. The Sasha Naomi thing happened. Bailey's gone. Like, okay, well then, who's your top act in NXT? Bring him up.
Yeah,
bring him up.
Yeah. Here we go. Luis Enrique de la Peña said, "Good morning. What's up with Lacey Evans' heel turn again? The face push didn't work. There aren't enough women faces other than Bianca Belair and Ronda Rousey." Yeah, this is fair because last night it was clear that Evans has gone heel. And what was the whole point of all those vignettes if you were going to turn her heel? And I saw some people saying, well, then for fuck's sake, turn Shotzi back to face.
Yes.
So this is an interesting development. Did they just think they wasn't going to get over? I mean, the whole America thing, did they think people were just going to gravitate to it and then realize people didn't? So they just defaulted back to what she does best is playing heel. What do you think happened here?
The Mark Henry thing. It's the Mark Henry experiment. Like, he's an American hero. I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mark Henry came in as like this babyface, Olympian, red, white, and blue. And then it was like, wait, this isn't working. People hate this. Let's put him in the Nation of Domination. And it kind of worked. And then they made him sexual chocolate and he's off to the races. But then, like, every time they try to do this with like an American hero, they end up turning them heel. Because, like, look even at Kurt Angle. Like, Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, all this. Yeah, I'm the best of the best. And then he's fucking heel because he's such an asshole about it.
Right. I
feel the same way about Lacey Evans. Like, she's like, I told you my story and you all still don't, like, give me the respect I deserve. It's like, yeah, we respect it. But in the wrestling sense, we just don't care.
Yeah.
And then she came out 3 different times to her song, which starts out like left, right, left. And I'm like, bitch, if it ain't Kanye, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. So stop it. And I'm just not down with it. If they wanted to do this, they should have given her Money in the Bank and let her be a heel from that. Lex Luger, yes, thank you, Senor.
Yeah, I was thinking that it's very reminiscent of Lex Luger. Because the only American they've ever let stay face the whole time, I think, is Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That's the only American hero.
Yeah,
you old school mofos who know Hacksaw was. He's the only one. But you're right. Everyone who's ever done the American hero thing, they've eventually turned and become a heel. And Luger, that was notorious crash and burn trying to do that American thing. Thoughts on this, Chris?
Vince McMahon is a 70-year-old white guy who believes in the pull yourself up by your bootstraps nonsense. And so I think he really still genuinely thinks that people want that like all American flag waving like babyface, that he had with Hogan. Right. I mean, it came out to a song called I'm a Real American, for God's sake. I think he's been trying to do that ever since. John Cena salutes the troops, you know what I mean? And wears the red, white, and blue also. I think he just keeps trying to make that happen, and you cannot force that on a crowd of today. And so it just doesn't work. And, I mean, as we've talked about, WWE just has a babyface problem in general.
Yeah.
You asked, why is Raquel smiling? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's like when Bobby Lashley was a face the first time, all smiles and so
waving to the crowd.
What is this? Like all that, I don't know, that cream corn, just I don't know, happy-go-lucky baby face. It just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't resonate with people because they're not real people.
Right.
That's the main thing. And then, I mean, this is the company that failed to get Roman over as a babyface when he came back from leukemia. You know what I'm saying? How do you fail at getting that guy over? Suffering succotash and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just like, what do you have this man saying? He just got back from cancer. He's here to kick ass. Very simple story to make a baby face. They failed.
Yeah.
So now you have this poor woman reliving her trauma on TV for your company as a character, and you can't even make it work to where the fans somehow sympathize with her. I mean, come on now. Just terrible. Just terrible.
The best heels.
Vince McMahon is Gretchen Wieners. Got it.
The best heels are the ones who think they're faces. And so if we could have, Lacey, that's the approach that it should have been, where people were kind of not sure if she was face or heel, and then she did her turn, and then you're like, oh shit, you know, that would have been the better choice. Stupid Stars Music says Liv is better currently than CF and Alexa.
That's Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair and Alexa.
Block him. Block this person.
Yeah, it's well,
insane.
His first name tells you everything you need to know. Stupid. She actually sells and has gotten better. Alexa and Charlotte have both regressed, in my opinion. What? Regressed? What?
3 weeks ago, Rhea Ripley killed Liv Morgan on TV. So, like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's
confused by this.
Let's see. J Dog says Liv has improved only to need more improving.
J Dog gets it. He gets it.
That's absolutely correct. JMB says Jedi Master Aaron, bitch. If it ain't Kanye, I don't care. Love you guys. Thanks for the show. Absolutely, James.
It's a new shirt.
Speaking of new shirts, let's debut their design here from Aaron Turner. A new design that is available here in the on the
very soon.
Very soon. Go ahead, Aaron. You pitch it here.
Yeah, this design is based on our thoughts on Liv Morgan being, or basically storylines not making sense. It's more Ronda. So available very soon in sticker form. You can have it on a coffee mug, a phone case, t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever you want. Rocha, please.
There it is.
Make it make sense.
There
in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Make it make sense. There you go.
I love that.
That's
I love that
stuff.
very much.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff. And if any of you who are watching us are designers, please feel free to take your run at some stuff. We'll happily put it up if it's good and we approve it, as Aaron has as well. So, yeah.
The bar is low. The bar is very low.
Oh, Charity in the Bank is what it should be called now. Wow.
Oh,
I like that.
Well done. Well done.
In the Bank. Shout out to you, man. That's a good one. Thank you, Christian Ramos. All right, let's move on and keep sending in your Streamlabs and your Super Chats as we go along. Haven't seen any Streamlabs, got some Super Chats. I pinned the Streamlabs address in the chat, so make sure you send stuff in to give us some support. All right, Aaron, where are we off to next? Let's do it.
I might have to bring out the gimmick cigarette for this one. We're going to talk about Vince McMahon's continued transgressions that come out. The Wall Street Journal, Rocha was talking about earlier. Put out a story that said Vince McMahon paid out $12 million in alleged hush money to 4 females associated with WWE. These payments go back at least 12 years.
Yeah.
One such case involves a female roster member at the time saying that Vince McMahon allegedly coerced her to perform oral sex on him and then threatened legal action. She threatened legal action against the company when her contract was not renewed in 2005. She went back with her attorney to McMahon and was given a $7.5 million payout for these items. There are other things that are floating around. Rocha, you probably have more of that than I do because I did not subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. So a lot of stuff, again, going on with Vince McMahon. And I know people say, well, it's Vince, it's Teflon, it's this, it's that. I think if this was 94... then Vince, this probably would go away. But WWE is not owned solely by Vince McMahon. He answers to a board of directors. It's a publicly traded company. It's different now.
Yeah, he does.
So what's going on here, guys?
So let's drop some more knowledge too on this. A WWE contractor presented the company with unsolicited photos of Mr. McMahon as well.
Too, yeah.
That's a different one. She reported receiving from him and alleged that he had sexually harassed her on the job. According to people familiar with the woman's non-disclosure agreement, McMahon paid her $1 million, around $1 million. And in a 2006 agreement, a former manager who had worked 10 years for McMahon before he allegedly initiated a sexual relation with her was paid $1 million to keep quiet about it. Of course, Wall Street Journal reported about the $3 million hush pact that was reached in January between McMahon and a WWE paralegal. The board is also investigating allegations against John Laurinaitis, who had sexual relationships with that same former paralegal. And the board is looking at a $1.5 million non-disclosure agreement reached in 2012 with an employee that was involved in misconduct claims against Mr. Johnny Ace there, Laurinaitis. He had been the head of WWE Talent Relations for 8 years. And when those allegations came out, he was forced to step down in 2012 and take a smaller role, which they did not announce and say that was the reason why. Then he was later promoted to head of talent relations last year. So they are looking at these non-disclosure agreements. And here's the part of it that I really want to throw out here. McMahon temporarily stepped aside. Stephanie's in there. And let's show that picture. Because, I mean, if my dad was having an affair on my mom, I would not be at UFC 276 after he's paid off all these people and sit right next to him with a big old stupid grin on my face. And Triple H too. Like, it's just such an odd, and McAfee as well, guilty by association. You're essentially rubber stamping these people's behavior by being there and sitting next to this guy for sure. So this is what's kind of bothers me about the situation. And here's another part of this that we need to throw into this equation, because a lot of people are like, oh, the board's going to do something. McMahon owns a majority of WWE's Class B shares, which gives him the bulk of shareholders' voting power. This is what the securities filing shows. The Class B shares have 10 times the voting power of the Class A shares, which are available to regular investors and are owned exclusively by Mr. McMahon, his family, and trusts benefiting individual family members. So according to Brandon Ross, who is a research analyst at Lightshed Partners, who follows the WWE, he said that the bar is going to be very, very high to wrestle the business away from family control, and that any outcome that would strip Mr. McMahon's creative responsibilities would materially change the company. So that's massive that they own the B shares. And having seen We Crashed, that show about what happened with WeWork, having watched the documentary WeWork, having watched other documentaries with these businesses, this is how these people, when they go public, protect their asses from being voted out and being put in negative positions by making sure their shares are worth more in a voting sense than the shares on the board or the shares of anybody else. And it looks like that's what we're seeing here with how Vince McMahon has made this whole thing public. When he made the WWE public, rather, is how he's insulated himself from this kind of situation, probably knowing that if this stuff was going to come out, they were going to vote him out. And so he now has a little bit of protection here. But I wonder, in the end, what this is going to lead to. Chris, what are your thoughts on all of this? New allegations that are out now, all this stuff that is leaking. Clearly, people are talking and revealing this information on the Wall Street Journal, a noted conservative paper, by the way, going after a guy whose wife served in the Trump administration as a small business administration. So this is an interesting turn of events. What do you think about all this?
I mean, where do you even begin with thoughts? It's just, ew. It's really what I think about it all. Just like, ew. Like, were you sending nudes of yourself, Vinnie Mac? What the hell? Like, ew. The whole thing is so gross and so just inappropriate. And it's first of all, it's going to be super tough. Let's just talk about the business side of it for a second.
Yeah.
It's going to be very tough, as to all the things you pointed out, because even if the board does a vote of no confidence, at the end of the day, he has enough voting power to sway it in his favor no matter what happens.
And this is why he's been appearing on television. This is why he retained creative control. Yeah.
100%. And then supposedly the last time he showed up on SmackDown, he came off stage and just said, fuck him, apparently out loud to everybody in Gorilla, to show just kind of his incredulous attitude towards this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, look, man, fans, if this is something that you want change to happen behind, you're going to have to use your vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. If there is a shift in business and there's a dip in money, then something could possibly happen. As of right now, it's going to be business as usual, like it's been, where people talk about how bad the creative has been or how shitty it is that they get rid of certain wrestlers and just really disgusting business practices when it comes to the whole independent contractor situation, etc.
Yeah.
But they keep showing record profits. And so the more we consume, the more stuff like this is just going to go by the wayside. And I hate to say, like, you know, I don't pay for WWE things. You know what I mean? I buy vintage shirts. I don't want to put any money into Vince McMahon's pocket. You know what I mean? And it's just because it just doesn't feel right. It never feels right. You know, I got to cover the stuff because, you know, we're journalists and we do the podcast and everything, but it's like, I can't, if I'm not getting comped to go to a WWE show, I'm just not going. You know what I mean? Bottom line. So it's kind of the way it's got to be. There's going to have to be a tangible effect on business for this situation to get any better. And it's just, God, if I had gotten into a relationship with somebody at my day job and didn't report it to HR, I'd get in massive trouble.
Yeah.
This is a man sleeping with subordinates, harassing subordinates, and in a lot of ways forcing himself and coercing subordinates to. It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable, unconscionable, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And because of my horrible internet, I missed the episode where you guys first talked about these allegations. But I honestly think that we as fans need to really look at our hero worship of Vince McMahon also. Yeah. Like, we're to blame a lot in this scenario because for years we've cheered him on. You know what I mean? No matter what. Every time he shows up, no chance. No chance in hell. We singing along with the song. We're so excited to see Vince because he's meant so much to us and provided so much entertainment and so many memories. But I mean, dude, I am an American black man. Bill Cosby was one of the most important human beings to me that I could even fathom outside of just entertainment, what he's done for education in the black community and upliftment, etc. I had to give it up at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't continue on just being like, but it's Bill. You got to stop with the, but it's Vince. You got to stop with the, but it's Vince. It's over, man. The guy is no good. He doesn't care. He just not remorseful. And, you know, if you don't see it that way, that's your own set of values. Fine. But come on, man. It's time to give it up. Vinny's got to go.
Aaron, before you respond real quick, I want to add a couple more things here. The shares, you talk about my money, Chris, here. The shares closed at $62.51 on the day McMahon stepped aside and slid below $60 over the following days. It closed at $63.76 on Friday, which was down 2% from Thursday. And in 2006, there were allegations that from a woman at a tanning salon in Boca Raton, Florida, who accused him of groping her. McMahon apparently showed her nude photos of himself on his phone and then later tried to kiss her, according to the police report. But they didn't pursue any independent, because they didn't have any independent evidence. They didn't pursue to file charges as well. And in 2001, he gave an interview to Playboy magazine and said he had been unfaithful to Mrs. McMahon, to Linda McMahon, with multiple women, but had to put a stop to it, saying the quote, havoc you create in others' lives just from wanting to have a good time. Clearly, he didn't put a stop to it. And the other side of this is, I mean, Linda not saying anything is really fascinating. I mean, this is clearly a woman who maybe understands, hey, let that fucker, drown. I don't give a shit. I've got my thing that I'm doing. We separated a long time ago. I've stayed married to him because it helps my life or whatever. But it's just fascinating that she's just kind of not saying a word, and no one's coming after her for about this stuff, which she's playing this really smart, in my opinion. Aaron, all the stuff Chris and I just said, thoughts on all those things, and your own thoughts, of course, as well on this situation.
It's all about power. I mean, that's really what bogs down to. If it was just about sex, Vince McMahon could pay any escort that he wanted to have a tryst on the night on the town anytime he wanted to. So it's about power.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. You can't do this to me, Mr. McMahon. Who's gonna fucking stop me? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what it's all about, the power dynamic. And Chris, I think you're right about the hero worship thing. Like, one of my favorite, probably my favorite NFL quarterback of all time that I loved is Brett Favre.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Brett Favre because he could throw a fucking cannon down the field and hit people in the chest and it fucking hurts. And you got to take a step back and be like, well, maybe Brett Favre isn't so great.
Yeah.
And, Steve McNair is my all-time favorite player of all time. I love Steve McNair. And then you look at the situation around his death and it's like, well, maybe Steve McNair wasn't the best guy in the world. And you kind of have to you should curb your expectations anyway. Like they say, oh, never meet your heroes and all that stuff. It's kind of true, sadly.
Yeah.
It's just something that, Vince has always been the Teflon Don. That's what I call him, because everything just bounces off of Vince. He rolls. Someone in the chat mentioned the Rita Chatterton thing that came back out.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, this guy, someone said in the chat that he's serial. And it's like, yeah, he might be. We may just be scratching the surface of this. And Vince, the hubris of the man to just come out on Raw and SmackDown, just be like, yeah, I'm here. What the fuck are you going to do about it? It's
insanity. And this is old Vince, Aaron. So imagine Vince when he was younger and in massive shape and, riding high with the power of the WWE in the 1980s and the 1990s. Imagine the stuff he got away from that these women aren't coming forward to talk about out of fear or trying to move past it or not wanting to relive the trauma. There's so much more that he probably did. If you're seeing this pattern now finally being exposed at a later age, he certainly did probably even more when he was feeling himself and was in full young strength back then.
Think about, all I keep thinking about is how poorly the on-screen stuff has aged.
Yes.
He's had several relationships with on-air talent. It's storyline-wise. He made Trish strip naked and bark like a dog. And
Corey Wilson and Stacey Keebler.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The whole thing. There was a whole storyline where he's cuckolding Linda in a wheelchair.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, once you start to really put that in context of all this stuff, it's like exactly what you're saying. It's all about power, and you look what I can do anything I want, and no one can say anything about it.
Right.
And it's just like, oh my God, dude. And we at the time we thought it was so hilarious.
I mean, the Kiss My Ass Club. Remember the Kiss My Ass Club? Holy shit. I mean, that's also about power, isn't it? It's about, kind of emasculating other men to make them put their lips on your bare ass. It's that kind of thing. And at the time, you're like, oh shit, right? But in reality, it's a symptom now. You see clearly that this is, like a lot of people say in wrestling, the best character is an extension of who you actually are. And so seeing those elements here in Vince is pretty unsettling. And certainly we've known about this kind of stuff, maybe not the full sexual assault of things quite like this in the past, but we know he's done unsavory shit in the past. Watching Dark Side of the Ring doesn't make him come out looking good in any way, shape, or form. So I wonder if this is finally enough shots across the bow. But again, I go back to this picture and I say to myself, how is this possible? How is this possible? And how do you respect in the end? Like, I get Triple H, maybe I can give, but Stephanie there, big smiles next to her dad, who has serially been cheating on her mom, and maybe they have an agreement, but the fact that he's kind of assaulting these women, assaulting these subordinates in these work situations, and then paying them off, and you're out here saying you're a strong woman and feminism and I support all. It doesn't connect. It doesn't make sense. It seems incongruent. And I know it's your dad, but I always feel like if your principles don't reach into your family and your friends, your principles aren't that fucking strong. That's how it works. It's not going to be tested with strangers. It's tested with your family and friends. And if you can't stand for those things with them, then you're not really standing for them that strongly, in my opinion. And so seeing here with Stephanie, that's the same kind of situation. And I've seen some people saying, well, clearly this woman, the last one that the one that broke the whole story up in January or back in January, that she had stuff with Vince And then when she was talking too much about it in the legal department, they moved her over to talent relations, and then she started something with Laurinaitis. And they're like, oh, she knew what she was going for. She was great. Maybe she did. But the two men who should fucking know better as her superior should have never started a relationship with her, so they'd be in this situation to pay her off. So even if you think that this woman manipulated the situation to be in a positive position, the men in power who should know better in a company acquiesced and participated in this situation to put themselves, and they're the ones who have more responsibility than the subordinate who is maybe trying to flirt with them or doing whatever to make some money here. Not saying that you did, just saying if you have that point of view, you still look at the blame lying more squarely on both those men than on that woman. So,
and this whole like separate the art from the artist thing, I think sometimes that's like an excuse. Like, I like this person, but they've done some bad shit. Like, I just kind of think you can be both. Like, Vince McMahon obviously is an asshole, but he's also like a shrewd businessman. He's both. And Michael Jackson is one of the greatest singers of all time, one of the greatest pop musicians there ever was, one of the best dancers ever. And he might have done some shit. And then Kevin Spacey, one of the best actors there's ever been on this planet.
Good points.
He's probably done some shit. And you can be both. Like Chris Benoit, killer murderer.
Yeah.
Excellent wrestler. Like, you can be both. And I think separating the art from the artist just kind of gives you that excuse of, well, I mean, I'm talking about their art. And it's like, yeah, but they're still a fucking piece of shit. It doesn't, one of my favorite horror movies is Jeepers Creepers. I fucking love that movie. And then you find out about the director, Victor Salva, and his history. It's like, well, I don't ever need to see Jeepers Creepers again. I'm good, actually. So it's just kind of like what you want to do.
Yeah, it's always going to be a personal decision, right?
Sure.
Decision separating the art from the artist. But, if you're going to be out there talking about it,
absolutely,
you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. I always say that. Oh, we got a bunch of Streamlabs to come through. Let's roll.
I think you missed. Someone said you missed Enrique's second super chat. I think he said 2.
All right, let me see if I can find it here.
It's up above J Dog.
Okay, Luis Enrique de la Peña says, why is there a male unified world champion but not a female? The male's unified champion won't last in the long run?
Because Roman Reigns is not a woman. That is why there's not a unified female champion. That's bottom line.
Because you all would get mad.
Both shows.
You guys would get mad when it's Charlotte Flair. So there you go.
Big facts, by the way.
Fair point. All right, let's hit these Streamlabs as well. Haskell 420, great to see you, Haskell. He says, hey, gang, oh joy on Dynamite this week. Kingston versus Jericho in a barbed wire death match. Love me some hardcore matches, but getting bored with this, you're not the only one. And bleeding nearly every week on AEW. Bleeding should be special and more often before you see it. The less and impact it has, like no DQ matches. Rivalries used to build to it. One-on-one matches versus each other in tags, interfering in their matches leads to no DQ, steel cage, and then say Hell in a Cell, for example. Eddie versus Chris has been built up for months. So I do get this, but in general, Sunday starts WWE and A&E programming, 2-hour Undertaker WWE Legends, followed by rivalries, Freddie Prince's Roundtable on Brett versus Shawn rivalry, followed by Smack Talk, Glenn Jacobs' Unheard Undertaker stories, and more on Brett and Shawn. So yeah, thoughts on all three of those? Yeah.
It's a massive block of programming that A&E has added for WWE yet again.
Yeah.
The Chris Jericho stuff we'll talk about more, but yeah, dude, like Chris Jericho's just a bloodsucker. Like he's a succubus. Like we talked about. Like Eddie Kingston got really popular with his rivalry with CM Punk. That he had the article in The Athletic that people really liked and really gravitated towards. And then Chris Jericho said, "Give me some of that," and that's what he's doing. And he's sucking him dry, just like he sucked MJF dry, just like he sucked Sammy Guevara dry, and then brought him back to suck him more dry. And Chris Jericho just like sucking people, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah. Chris, thoughts on all this?
Jericho's not a succubus; he's a wizard. Okay, let's get it correct.
Sorry.
But I mean, you know me, I'm all for Eddie Kingston and Jericho going at it. I love it. But interesting note: someone in AEW told me, won't reveal who, that The reason that there's been so much more hardcore stuff recently and so much more blood is because they're kind of testing the limits to what Discovery is going to let them do. And so they're just kind of presenting it in a way like, this is cool, right? Like, we bleed here. You know what I mean? Like, we do the shits that WWE doesn't do. So let us know if it's going to be a problem, so we know whenever this changeover happens. And no one said anything, so they're going to keep it rolling for the time being.
Somebody stop me!
Exactly.
All right, Justin Toner sent in. He says, "Hi guys, this Vince and Johnny A stuff keeps getting worse. I pray it leads to both of them being gone from WWE, but getting rid of Vince is not easy. Maybe if WWE stock gets hurt badly enough, and NBC, Universal Plus, Fox put pressure on it with the TV deals." I guess that's a possibility too, the pressure, but Fox has been, Fox is also, Fox News and shit. So I don't know how strong they're going to put the pressure on Vince, especially if the money's not going down. I mean, like Chris was saying, the money's not disappearing right now. They're hitting record numbers. I don't think we're going to see the effects of this until down the road. So is this a PR situation? What's that? And then advertisers have to really put the pressure on. That's what it is. Advertisers putting the pressure on WWE, putting the pressure on Universal, Peacock, NBC, all of that. That's when you'll start to see changes, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. Justin also says, my friend and I had a great time at Dynamite and Rampage live this week here in Rochester. We even ended up on camera during the show.
Whoa.
We can be seen chanting a-hole at Christian during that segment in the crowd.
As you should have.
Yeah, exactly. Wardlow's title win was great live. We'll talk about that. We'll put a pin in that, Justin. We'll definitely get to AEW stuff in a second. Christian Ramos saying Vince McMahon is legitimately the mascot for corporate corruption. Vince is like those blue blood level Connecticut guys. He's in that circle of power, trip business magnets who abuse everything because they've abandoned empathy. Man is lost because he's a dinosaur. I think that's fair.
Yeah, big facts.
Yeah. And then Chris Miner saying, getting ready for a wedding now. Hopefully there won't be a box with a snake waiting to strike my sister-in-law. Keep up the great and awesome work, strong style.
Let me tell you something, Chris. If there's a snake in the box, brother, just drop an elbow on it. Yeah, forget.
That is one of my favorite stories about Savage, where they were going to do the spot where he gets bit in the bicep by the snake. He doesn't trust Jake, so he makes Jake take the bite backstage. I love that story so much. Go, if you guys listening, if you haven't heard that story, go out of your way to find it on YouTube. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's like things that are ingrained in my mind as a wrestling fan as a child. That's one of them, because I was so freaked out. I was like, is it a fake snake? Is it a fake snake? My dad's like, I don't know. I don't know if it is or not.
And Macho sold it like crazy on the ropes when he's trying in that position. It's so good. It's so good.
Nuts.
So good. All right, let's move on here to some Raw and SmackDown stuff. Anything big we need to hit here, Aaron, before we get the AEW stuff?
The only thing that I want to hit on is that Becky Lynch and Asuka keep having great matches.
Yes, agreed.
But I hate their fucking rivalry, and I want it to end because it's every fucking week. It's killing me. But they're doing great stuff. But and they were probably the best part of the Money in the Bank women's match, I thought.
Okay.
Could we talk about Gunther? I don't know if you guys watched SmackDown last night, but Gunther, Walter, had a Intercontinental Open Challenge, which was answered by Shinsuke Nakamura, which was, I was like, oh yeah, this is what's up. And then Gunther backed down and said, you can get a shot when you beat my protege, Mr. Ludwig Kaiser over here. And Nakamura beat him. And then for punishment for not winning, Gunther made Mr. Kaiser take 3 mother bleeping chops to the chest.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so it's like a master, like slave kind of thing. All right, I'm down with this. This is pretty cool. Like, of all SmackDown, I think someone in the chat said earlier, SmackDown had like 20 minutes of actual wrestling, which it did. And I was like, man, they have like such a hidden gem in Gunther Walter that they don't even know what they have here. Yeah. And it's so good. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, him and Nakamura, That's going to be a fascinating.
Hell yeah.
Right? I mean, you talk about strong style. Gunther, Walter can take that strong style shit all night long. So, and deliver it back to Shinsuke. And wouldn't that be fun to watch for sure? And what else was on there? I want to hit. Oh, yeah. Drew McIntyre. I don't know how you beat Butch to get a title shot, but whatever.
It made no sense.
Yeah,
I feel like I've seen
at the top of the fucking rankings for guys.
He fucking tried to hit Sheamus with the sword again, which we've already seen, and somehow that sets off Pyro. I don't know how that works, but whatever the fuck, whatever.
But I do have a question about the idea. Wait, where was I looking at here? Oh, the Alpha Academy stuff was weird. The vomiting on, like, what was that all about there on Raw? I thought that was really weird. And why would you put Ezekiel in a loss to Seth? I don't understand that in any way, shape, or form. You spent all this time building up the Ezekiel. You had Elrod possibly coming. You have Elias come back. Why would you put an L on him? Let it be a draw or let it be an interference thing. Don't put an L on him, a straight L on him. It just doesn't make sense. What do you guys think of that?
You think they have a plan to where that's going? They didn't decide. It was clear for a month they hadn't decided if Ezekiel was indeed not Elias. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it was very clear they hadn't decided. And the fact that Kevin Owens was making it work from week to week to week to week is why it worked. Now they're just like, oh, I don't know, put him in there with Seth Rollins and have him fucking lose. They don't have a fucking plan. There's not a chance they have a plan. If they did, we'd see Elrod by now.
That's true. That's true.
They don't have a plan. Listen, I gotta go back to Nakamura.
Okay.
Walter.
Yeah.
Imagine for a second if this had been the Walter we knew in NXT.
Oof.
And the Nakamura we knew in NXT fresh off his win over Sami Zayn.
Yeah. Great match.
Just soak that feeling in for a second versus what Nakamura has become on the SmackDown roster. This guy was it in Japan. Period, point blank. Tanahashi, great. Okada, great. No. It was Shinsuke motherfucking Nakamura, the king of strong style, the Michael Jackson flourishes and outfits, and just incredible. This guy made the Intercontinental IWGP Championship mean so much more than the IWGP World Championship that main evented Wrestle Kingdom 10, him versus AJ Styles.
Right.
Not for the world title, for the Intercontinental title. That is what he meant to that promotion. And him coming to the United States was supposed to be the biggest deal in the world, and it was for all of 2 months.
Yeah.
And then they brought him to the main roster, not with a feud, not with a angle. They just said, and here's Shinsuke. And he literally just comes out and poses on SmackDown. Terrible way to start it. Then you botch his rematch with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. You what? You botched it. And so now it's one of those things where, if given the right time, respect, and also green light, if you give these guys the fucking green light to go at each other the way they would in the Tokyo Dome or in Full Sail or wherever at, this is going to be a classic.
Yeah.
An absolute classic. And I know that someone like Shinsuke is like salivating over that thought because he hasn't been able to let loose on anybody.
Yeah.
You want to talk about somebody who could take it. We're talking about Walter. So, and Walter obviously gives it back in spades.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping for is that this is a situation like NXT UK where Walter would be having these matches that were just like these 5-star bangers and just because they were letting him go because nobody cared about NXT UK.
Right.
If they have that approach to these two guys, I can't wait to see it. It was the best thing on SmackDown. Love the whole Fight Club. I just punish you if you fail me dynamic between Walter and Kaiser. Like, That's kind of to me what the Blackpool Combat Club should be. You lose, you know what I'm saying? You got to take some punishment. That is what that is, right?
Yeah. You get a little beat down by the rest of the crew.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I love that. Yeah. So yeah, keep up. Hey, so far, the Walter main roster experiment has gone perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Do not feed this man to a Roman. Do not foolishly take his belt from him for no reason. Right. Do not make him do anything funny. For God's sake, don't have him do any comedy.
Not funny at all.
Let it happen. Just let it happen. And you got a star, WWE. Let it happen.
I'm telling you, John, and you'll get this. Of course, I don't know if you've seen it, but it feels like WWE is Thor and Gunther is Gore the God Butcher. That shit is dead serious. And then the rest of the movie's like funny, haha.
Right.
The people watching here reaffirming Chris's point of view. His mama named him Walter. I'm gonna call him Walter. There you go. That's Chris's
I'm gonna design a shirt that just says "Who is Gunther?"
There you go.
I don't know who that is.
Roberto Arsenal says, I'm glad that the All-Atlantic Championship is being defended in another promotion in England. This will be a traveling championship. Give it to Naito. Yeah, maybe. I'm cool with that.
As long as Pac's wrestling in a place where I can see him wrestle, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on here. I don't think I've got no Streamlabs have come, no new ones have come through. So send them in if you want to keep sending them in to send in some questions, thoughts, and comments. Let's move on to our next thing and hit like. We got 112 of you watching right now. We had 120 just a few seconds ago. So hit a like on this. Move the cursor over there and hit that like button on this video. All right, what do we got next here?
That's right. Hit the like button. We'll have Christian got a promo on you. We were talking about AEW Dynamite, which I don't like to do commentary when I'm reading results, but man, I thought this was a pretty solid show.
Yes, it was.
Wardlow defeated Scorpio Sky to win the TNT Championship.
Thanks, Scorpio, for keeping it warm. Thank you.
The Genie, baby. The Genie. Not the Lake Show title, the Genie. Anyway, Christian barbecued Matt Hardy on the microphone, and then Luchasaurus and he beat the shit out of him. Swerve and Keith Lee defeated Butcher and Blade. Starks and Hobbs call out Swerve and Lee after can read my own writing. After the Bucks come out, and then they announce they'll have a triple threat tag team match for next week. Great. Roosh defeated Penta Oscuro. The Gun Club and the Acclaim defeated some jobbers, and then they broke up afterwards. Sadly, I was having a lot of fun with that. Thunderstorm, the team of Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm, defeated Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose. John Moxley defeated Brody King to retain the AEW title. I also did put on there Hangman Page saved the Dark Order from getting beat up by QT Marshall. And we got a preview of next week, Claudio Castagnoli versus Jake Hager, who no one cares about. So AEW Dynamite, guys, in a nutshell, that was pretty good. What do you guys think?
That last match you're talking is 2005 WWE. Oh, God, give me a break. Wardlow defeating Scorpio Sky. I mean, we all saw this coming, right? This is the ascension of Wardlow. Eventually, he will have the main title. They see him, as you guys have pointed out, like another Goldberg. It's very reminiscent of that. And I don't know what you do with Scorpio Sky now, because you did all this time building him up, gave him the title, some good matches. He's a damn good wrestler. Now, what do you do with him? Do you start a feud here with Wardlow, or is it something else? Does he break up with his manager there, with Dan Lambert? I don't know. So there's a lot of questions here in my mind. And Wardlow took out the entire fucking crew by himself before he took care of Scorpio Sky. So crazy stuff. Yeah, Christian, Jesus, Mary, Mother of God. You have to agree to it. This is the crazy part of it all, is Matt has to agree, and I hope he got Jeff's permission. He has to agree to allow Christian to say the things that he's saying on air, because in real life, if you were to cross lines like that, no person's going to blame you for launching and kicking the shit out of somebody for real. So on one side, I kind of respect that they allow this to happen because it's the business. But on the other side, I'm like, man, how close are we getting? Is there a line even anymore for something like this? I'm surprised Lita didn't get thrown into this mix when he was going off. And considering Edge and Christian were boys, I was waiting for the Lita thing. I was like, oh my God, where are we going? So, but yeah, the Swerve Lee, Starks and Hobbs and Bucks thing, that was great. The Bucks coming out saying, yeah, it's all great. You guys are fantastic. We set the fucking table. You are enjoying what you're enjoying because of what we did. We built the company. And I love Keith Lee. Keith Lee was like, motherfuckers are right. Yeah, motherfuckers are right. So I love that reaction to it at all. But this looks like it's going to be a fun six-person tag for sure. I'm looking forward to that one. Rush and Penta Oscuro was surprisingly exciting. And, of course, Penta has kind of been lost in the mix. People forget how good Penta actually fucking was. He's won titles. He was feared. And now he's kind of in the background a little bit when all these other big names have come through. So that's a shame. But I thought Rush did a nice job. Great to have Andrade interfere and put the foot on all of that on the ring and everything like that. The Gun Club, I don't know what to do with that with the Acclaimed. Great, cool. They broke up. I guess that's fine. ThunderStorm, Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose is no threat to those two. So if nothing else, they now have a T-shirt. So if nothing else, this is helping Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm both like get the fans behind them fully 100%. So ride this out until the ThunderStorm breaks in half, and then you have Thunder versus Storm, which would be fun. And then Moxley versus Brody King was surprisingly boring. And I didn't anticipate that he would win Brody King, so it's no surprise Moxley won. But I also think it exposed some limits to Moxley. And I was thinking of Aaron the whole time as I was watching this match, because I was thinking to myself, it doesn't feel like this was the right time for him to have the belt. And there was some struggles here with Brody that I was really surprised by. So those are my thoughts overall on AEW Dynamite and stuff. What do you think there, Chris?
I also thought it was a pretty solid episode that kind of hit a sharp decline right at the very end. Wardlow, I thought that fixed his momentum because nobody gave a shit about the comedic, we're going to sue you. The League of Referees is going to sue you. Like, no one gave a shit about that. So give him the win, give him the Goldberg U.S. title win. I only wish that I feel like I'm shitting on Scorpio every week, but I'm not shitting on him. I like Scorpio a lot.
Right.
He is not the heel champion that you'd really want to see Wardlow destroy. Yeah. That's kind of the problem. We do like Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? But if he was like the honky tonk man and Wardlow could have his Ultimate Warrior moment where he comes out and squashes him, all the better. But we like Scorpio, so it doesn't have the same effect. You know what I mean? Which is why Wardlow got over in the first place, because everybody hates MJF so much. So it worked in his favor. But hopefully this is the momentum reignition that he needed, and it'll be the catalyst for good Wardlow stuff coming up. Yeah. I don't know who you can kind of put in front of him next as an opponent, but I'm sure they'll figure out. They're much better than WWE at not putting people in there that can't take a loss, and they just put them in there for the hell of it. So they'll find the right people, and there's plenty of lower mid-card guys for Wardlow to destroy on the way to a real program. Christian, finally you're on your own. It is. I mean, it's just top notch every single week. It's top. And of course, Matt agreed to it. This is the same guy who got in a wrestling feud with the guy who legitimately stole his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, Matt, there's no line for Matt Hardy. There's no line whatsoever.
Is there a line for Jeff? I mean, for fuck's sake.
Who knows? I would say no, probably either. That guy.
They're probably white lines.
Damn it, Aaron.
But it was just I mean, look, guy is great.
Yeah.
And he's got a heavy in Luchasaurus. So you can't get to him if you really want. It's like, it's perfect. It's so perfect. He's the best heel in AEW right now in the void of MJF not being around. I can't. Can you guys think of a main event heel that's better than Christian right now?
No,
in AEW,
100% no, 100% no. And it's ironic because he was doing it on Matt Hardy, who Matt Hardy revitalized his career later in life with the whole delete stuff and those videos. Here's Christian, who you thought was he was the player to be added later in this whole situation coming over to AEW, right? You had Punk, you had all these other people coming up with bigger names. Christian certainly was a name, but always in the shadow of Edge. And here he is, kind of like Matt Hardy with Jeff, always in the shadow of Jeff. Here he is establishing himself this late in his career, as you said, Chris, on his own and delivering. You can have banger matches. I think you're going to have banger promos, delivering banger promos that absolutely make the audience go, holy shit. And let me tell you something. This is great wrestling, okay? Promos that cross the line, go into personal stuff. It's great because it absolutely makes the audience go, holy shit. Like it gets them dialed into a heel even more. And some people are like, oh, I don't, we shouldn't say certain things. If everyone involved in it is okay with it, then boom, make it happen. Because I think it's a great way to build up hype in a situation. And Christian looks reborn, and it's fantastic to see.
Absolutely. And the tag team stuff was fun. I love that the audience started chanting FTR. Yes. As soon as the Bucks were like, we're the best tag team of all time. And I think that's the right direction. Keep having the Young Bucks make matches where they're fighting champions, but they don't have to deal with FTR. And then it comes to a head at a pay-per-view where they can't escape FTR, and it's got to be the guys with all the other belts versus the guys with the AEW belts. Yeah, I'm all about that. Because FTR Young Bucks 2 was fantastic, and 3 would probably be off the charts amazing. Then we had Roosh and Pentagon. Look, at this point, give me an LWO situation and just have them all team up. Have them all team up. Give me the Lucha Brothers with Roosh and Andrade, and give me, they're like lightly saying that Ingo Narbles is back together.
Yes.
They haven't, they won't commit to it all the way, but it's like, yeah, that's it. That's the stable. Just bring them all together. Why not? Instead of just always having the Latin people fight each other every week. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just have them join and get in real storylines. Yeah, like don't. Why do you all
Andrade's already done that, for fuck's sake, for years in WWE, all facing every Latino
natural inclination. It's like, oh, he wears a mask. He used to wear a mask. We're just gonna have him fight for months and months and months. It's like, okay, we get it. They speak Spanish. Fucking, they can fight other people who don't speak Spanish. Oh, fucking A. It's so annoying. It's so irritating. They always do that in wrestling. But I was sad that Scissor Me Daddy is no more. The Gun Club and Acclaimed was one of my favorite acts. I was like, you had a potentially great, like, kind of youthful babyface stable on your hands of those guys that was resonating with the crowd more than Jurassic Express, which is what they kind of wanted to be, the young, fan favorite stable with Marco Stunt and all that stuff. But of course, you broke them up, so it doesn't matter. Which I understand. I would, because at least at the end of it, the Acclaimed are now baby faces, which they should be.
Right.
100% should be. I'm not mad at ThunderStorm. I wanted
not mad at it either. I mean, it's helping them. Yeah.
I wanted an organic way for them to continue Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa, and I think they found it. It's like, well, just make them a tag team. They have respect for each other. There's no real storyline there. Make them a tag team. Do the thing. It sounds cool together. Blah blah blah. I don't know about Mega Powers 2.0, Christian Ramos.
Calm down. Calm down.
Who's the Elizabeth in that situation? Are we the Elizabeth?
Thunder Rosa's husband.
I was going to say Brian Rosa is. Love you, Brian.
I'm happy to play the Elizabeth between the two of them. If you need someone to come with lust in your eyes for, I'm your guy. Because, the way we talked about it before, Tony Storm's better as a heel. And when she turns on Thunder Rosa, that's going to be a good feud.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good feud. I'm with you, John. Styles clash sometimes, and Brody and Moxley was not it, man. I enjoyed Aleister Black's promo before.
Yes.
Is it Aleister Black?
Malachi
Black.
Black. Still in NXT. I enjoyed his promo beforehand, but it's kind of like pay that off. Have him beat Brody King, and then Malachi walks down and stares him down. It's like, all right, you beat my boy, but you can't beat me. Something. Don't. It was very anticlimactic, especially since like he chokes out Moxley.
Yeah.
They don't stop the match. Moxley does a comeback, chokes Brody out, and then they stop the match. What the hell is that psychology? It made no sense to me. Also, like, I don't know, that choke move doesn't do anything for me. So it's just a weird way to end it. The Dark Order stuff. All right, maybe this is a new direction for them. Interesting stuff going on backstage with Colt Cabana and how I guess they were going to let him go because the tension between him and CM Punk are very palpable.
Yeah.
And but I guess a lot of the AEW guys went to bat for him with Tony Khan. I was like, dude, you cannot let him. You can't fire this guy because Punk doesn't like him. You know what I mean? Like that's just not a good enough reason. But apparently he's going to do more Ring of Honor stuff and be kept away from the AEW roster, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Dark Order. If this is paving the way for like a Wyatt or somebody to come through and lead them, and that's the new direction, great.
Yeah.
If they just kind of stick around as this dumb comedy act, I'm good. I'm good on the Dark Order. And I don't think Paige needs to be near them at all.
No.
I don't know why they keep going to that well. We get it. They're friends, sort of. Like, don't know.
This is going to start to drag. This has already been dragging him down. This will sink him if they keep putting him next to Dark Order the whole time. Because you are the company you keep. And if he keeps hanging out with those guys who are not over in any way, shape, or form in AEW, they're going to sink him. And that's a bad thing. If I was Hangman Page, I'd find a way to be a little more like put my foot down a little bit harder or my boot down a little bit harder on the situation to make sure they don't do that for sure. What about these? What about Rampage here? We had Kingston versus Takashita, which a lot of people are talking about, and Orange Cassidy versus Tony Nese, which I like that Orange Cassidy match with Danhausen coming and doing his thing. Thoughts on those matches? Rampage? Anybody?
I didn't even get to talk about Dynamite.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Aaron. I thought you talked when you was doing the commentary through the matches. My bad. Please, Dynamite. Go ahead.
How dare you?
Apologize.
I'm not going to add anything to the Moxley Brody King. I thought Brody King equated himself well. That's all.
Okay. All right.
The ThunderStorm stuff. Yeah, Tony's going to turn. It's going to be great. Here's something we didn't talk about, but I want to bring it up because I think it's interesting.
Okay.
During the Swerve and Keith Lee and the Butcher and the Blade tag match, did you notice the crowd was cheering for the Butcher and the Blade?
Yeah, they were.
And then Butcher and the Blade got a near fall, and then the crowd started chanting bullshit when Keith Lee broke up the pin because they wanted the Butcher and the Blade to win. And I was like, oh my God, finally, they're getting their due.
Yeah.
And then they lost. But the thing about that also, afterwards, we talked about the Young Bucks stuff. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs called someone a punk-ass bitch, and I don't think I've ever been more afraid of someone in my life.
You and me both.
Then Ricky Starks, John, don't hate me for saying this, but Ricky Starks goes full-on TNA Ric Flair.
What?
And he starts like talking shit to Swerve, and then Swerve talks back and he goes, I'll beat your ass. I swear to God, right now, I'll beat your ass. And I was like, that's Ric Flair. Like, that is something Ric Flair would say. And he starts walking back up the ramp and walking down the ramp. I was like, that is a fucking Ric Flair move. And I just think that Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks are so fucking good. I liked him so much better than Swerve and Lee as a team. I like Swerve and Lee individually. But I think they're so good. And they're just going to get thrown in the middle here because the Young Bucks are obviously going to win. And that sucks because they're so good. And Butcher and the Blade as well. They're going to get lost in the shuffle too. And that really sucks. Right. So I hated that. But I wanted to put a spotlight on that because I thought Ricky Starks was awesome.
Yeah, I want to respond to this because I think it's important on what you're talking about. But this is sometimes the situation we find ourselves in, right? When we're like, God, I want a good tag team division. Great. We've got a great tag team division. Yeah, but these guys are getting left behind. That's what happens in a great tag team division.
Yeah, it is.
It's always what happens is someone gets left behind. Someone has to sit on the sidelines for a little while, then get their run. And so, look, and Butcher and Blade, come on. Those guys look like they just got out of a biker bar at 3 a.m. They're not going to win the titles necessarily, but they deliver damn good. They're great. I don't want to say jobbers, but they're great losers is what I'm going to say, because they lose the matches, but they win the crowd over because they deliver good spots and good matches, and they tell great stories in the ring. So that's why the crowd was cheering for him, and respect to the AEW crowd for recognizing that and giving them some love. That was better than winning the match, I believe, for them to get recognized in that way by the crowd. Because sometimes if you're losing all the time, it can feel like, nobody respects what you're doing and you're always taking the L's, but the crowd cheering for you, that is fucking cool. So I hopefully that's a thing that, and I agree with you. I think I like the Ricky Starks thing because it's a great counter to Powerhouse Hobbs. It's a great, because Hobbs, as you said, 5 words, your balls are liquid. With Ricky Starks, to balance that, you have to have a guy who's like, it's a great balance to the still dude, because that you just don't know what's going to happen at any moment when you have a guy who doesn't talk too much and a guy who loses his motherfucking mind next to him. So you just don't know how to handle that. So I like their chemistry for sure. And don't be surprised if that chemistry keeps building and the fans keep getting more and more over with him. I think it's going to be Keith Lee and Swerve who get forgotten in the long run, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Starks are the ones holding the belts eventually down the road. I would not be surprised.
Sadly, yeah. I think that's a good possibility. And one quick thing about Wardlow, I know we do the Goldberg comparison, but I would ask people to think about Dave Bautista's ascension. Like when Batista was with Brother Devon, when he was Deacon Batista, ended up turning on him, getting rid of him, just like Wardlow got rid of MJF, and then Big Dave kind of went off to the races, and then he eventually upended Triple H and became world champion.
Right.
So I think it's not going to be too much longer before we get heel CM Punk as the champion and Wardlow as the babyface challenger.
Oh yeah,
and beats CM Punk and wins the world title and holds both belts, not unlike Goldberg.
Yeah,
because he was the U.S. champion and the world champion. So it's gonna be fucking awesome to watch. I know that.
Okay, fair enough.
Speaking on the tag team stuff, I think it's an easy fix. Give them a feud that doesn't involve the titles.
Yeah.
Remember when were the New Age Outlaws the tag team champions when they were feuding with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk? I don't think they were.
I don't think they were either.
They were hot potato in it then, so who knows?
Yeah, but that was just a personal ass problem, that those two teams had. You tried to kill us. You put us in a dumpster and pushed it off of a stage. That is, and now we're gonna try to kill you because we're two violent morons. You know what I mean? Very personal, and that's all you really need to do with a Butcher and the Blade and another tag team. I think this is a challenge to Tony Khan. Create some storylines for your tag teams, because honestly, as much as we love Butcher Blade, as much as we love the Swerve and Keith Lee and even Sting and Darby.
Yeah.
And when you talk about this tag team division is bubbling, but FTR need to be the Ring of Honor and IWGP and AAA tag champions, and the Bucks need to be the AEW tag team champions. So people are going to have to lose to them, those two teams.
Right.
That's going to have to happen. So you got to figure out what they can do in the meantime to make it mean something. When the Hardys and when Edge and Christian did the whole Terry Invitational, thing, that wasn't about the tag team titles. That was all about getting a manager, you know what I mean? And old affiliations with Gangrel and all, there's ways to do this without it having to be about the titles, and teams can pick up wins without losing to the tag team champions.
You're 100% right.
That's where Tony's got to really think about.
Yeah.
I have one more note, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because you just reminded me of it. I think I figured out the problem with the AEW women's division, and it's like this. Whenever I see Becky Lynch on television, or I know that Becky Lynch is coming up, like after the break, we're going to have a word from Becky Lynch. I give a shit.
Yeah.
I want to see what Becky Lynch is doing because Becky Lynch is entertaining and she is, all of these great things. Even with like Asuka, like we'll have Asuka's thoughts around the break. Yes, I want to see what she's doing.
Yeah.
But then I go to AEW and it's telling me that Marina Shafir, like JR is telling me, Marina Shafir is this great wrestler. She's a blue chipper. She's going to be a future world champion. She can be hard to deal with. And she hasn't won a fucking match on television.
Yeah.
So don't give me this shit. Like, I need to see it first. You can tell me Tony Storm's great. I already know that.
Right.
You can tell me that Thunder Rosa's great. I already know that. I need to see it to believe it. They had Jade Cargill, and I feel like they have, like, pumped the brakes on her a little bit. Like, she wrestles, but not as much as I'd want her to.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need more of her. Like, she should be getting much more work. And it's just, they don't captivate me. Like, Britt Baker was like lightning in a bottle. It was too late. She's not on the show anymore. DMD. Yeah. Like, she was lightning in a bottle, and I was compelled to watch her do stuff. And now that she's gone, even with Thunder Rosa as the champion, even with Jade Cargill as the other champion, and the great women that they have there, I don't give a shit if Ty Conti's slamming Ruby Soho's hand in the fucking door. I don't care. Yeah. Like, I would rather watch Becky Lynch and Asuka and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss and all these other women just fucking tear it up than I would to see this other shit. And it's more compelling. Like, even without, I hate to say it, but even without Sasha Banks and Naomi, the WWE women's division is so much stronger than AEW's. Like, it's not even close.
You're right. It's not even close. You're absolutely right, dude.
But nothing compels you. Nothing brings you in.
Right.
It's like, you go to the movies, you look at a movie trailer, like you go to see Thor and here's Black Adam, here's what Marvel's doing next. It brings you into that where you need to research it more and you need to get more invested. And then it's just like, AEW doesn't do that. Like, I don't care. Yeah. There's no personality profile on Thunder Rosa. Like, Thunder Rosa fought MMA. She's like fought all around the world. And there's nothing about that. There's no personality profile. I should know these things about Thunder Rosa. Everybody should know these things. And it's like, you don't know that. You know that Bianca Belair was a world-class athlete at the University of Tennessee. You know this already. Becky Lynch is this and that. Like, I just feel like we need more info. Yeah.
Packages, things of that nature like WWE does. You're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. Like promotion. I mean, even with Paige leaving this week, they dropped like a 5-minute, 40-second video talking about Paige's contributions over the years at WWE. No bad blood, just the end of a relationship. She's moving on. They're moving on. And they had 5-minute, 40-second package to do. You got to do those kinds of things to build people up. It can't just be the promos before the matches on a pay-per-view or whatever. You got to do the promos, or you got to do the packages rather during the run-up and in those moments, so you can get people to be more on board with these wrestlers. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Review King MB says, I agree that Liv isn't better than Charlotte, but when WWE pushes Mandy and Eva Marie so hard, no reason she can't be given a chance.
What is okay? I know that people don't like Charlotte, and they're very valid reasons. I know that.
It's not her abilities in the ring, though.
Yeah, when did we get delusional that Charlotte's not a great wrestler? Is what I don't understand. When it's just like with the Cena hate, where people are like, "Oh, John Cena sucks," and it was the whole thing. Don't fuck around. The dude is awesome as a pro wrestler. His character just got stale. And I think that's what it is for Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Her character is stale. She is phenomenal. Like, she is so good, such a superstar. Like, I get it. You don't have to like her, but God damn it, respect her, please. Please.
Well, that's what pissed me off about people making such a big deal about Liv's comment in that moment on the bump when she said, well, because the people want me to be champion. When they asked what's going to separate her reign from Charlotte's or Ronda's. Never mind that Ronda gave her a hug in the ring. Ronda agreed with putting her over. She still took the shots at both of them. And that to me was low fucking class. Okay. And no smiles and happy tears are going to erase an authentic moment like that because Ronda's not a heel. She's a face. So for you to say these things and disrespect Charlotte like that, I thought was really out of turn. Maybe they're building up to a triple threat, and so she made that comment and whatever, but I just thought it was poor form for someone who just got here and is barely here, to be honest with you, and could be gone in a month as a champion. So those are those things. So like put some respect on Charlotte's name. And Charlotte is in this period that every great wrestler goes through, which is that lull, that period where you're kind of sick of them or enough. I mean, Hogan, one of the greatest of all time, went through this where people were sick of the gimmick, and he wasn't doing anything different in the ring. They hadn't done the past. They were sick of the gimmick. And then eventually he made the turn and, did his thing. Cena, people sick of the gimmick, as you pointed out, Chris. Then it's the longevity. And Charlotte is going to be here for a long time. And once this lull is over, people are going to start reappreciating Charlotte in ways that she can't even conceive of right now because she's shown her commitment to the business and she's a lifer. And so that's what's going to happen down the road. So this coming after Charlotte bullshit is just nonsense, utter nonsense.
Listen, it's okay, sweetheart.
Oh my God.
They don't mean the things that they say. They're being ridiculous.
I would say get a room, but you're in your room.
Hey, yo. That's why there's a cover on it.
Oh, Lord, no.
I'm here to tell you.
This is not The Boys. Go ahead, yeah.
I'm here to tell you that, and I don't like saying this because I feel like opinions are obviously subjective, but if you're going to stand there and tell me that if you take the greatest female wrestlers of all time, and it goes like this person, and you hit like 4 or 5 and Charlotte Flair isn't on your list, you're wrong. Because I'm telling you, as good as Becky Lynch, as good as Becky, as good as Bayley, as good as the best female wrestlers in the world are, it truly is Charlotte Flair and everybody else. Because she's that fucking good. Okay, she can't hit a twisted moonsault every time. Who gives a shit? Yeah. She has such a compelling character. She's a fucking Flair. It's in her blood. She's a super athlete. She does everything good, like good enough that everybody wishes they could do. And I think in their heart of hearts, if they're being truthful, a lot of the women in wrestling would say, damn, I wish I was half as talented as Charlotte Flair.
Oh, yeah. Please.
So,
I wish I was half as over as Charlotte Flair, let alone talent as Charlotte Flair. Yeah.
I was going to say, you only get to be that stale after you've reached the utter echelon of performers. You only get to get that kind of heat when you are just so heads and shoulders good above everyone else that there's nothing else for you to do.
Yeah.
Hogan went through it. Cena went through it. Charlotte's going through it. Charlotte's had classic match after classic match after classic match, title win after title win after title win. You know what I mean? Great promo after great promo after great promo. So you get to a point, to John's point, where like, okay, now we need to hit the refresh button because it's so understood how her greatness that it has to be, we have to miss her for a while. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's where she's at right now. So I'm glad that she got some time off and she's enjoying her honeymoon and doing what she's got to do. And she'll be back later. Just they got to be thinking of ways to how we're going to refresh it when she comes back. Right. She's unbelievable. Like, what are we talking about? Liv, give me one classic match. Give me one give me one match that was like, remember that one where she just give me anything like that for Liv, and then we can start talking about her being better than Flair. Like, come on now, it's crazy. What did she do in NXT that was so impressive that we remember Liv's time there? Oh, do you even remember that Liv was in NXT? Because I do.
Yeah, she was from New Jersey, bro.
That's right.
She wasn't even the best part of the trio. It was Ruby in the threesome that they had when they were the trio there in the
low bar.
The Riot Squad. Oh yeah,
the Riot Squad. Right, exactly. It wasn't called the Morgan Squad or the Liv Squad or Riot and Liv and Sarah. It was called the Riot Squad. So
Clarissa basically saying I think we didn't answer the question correctly. She's saying that the point that was made was that don't judge Liv by getting a chance to being champ when they push types like Mandy and Eva Marie. The difference is that Eva Marie was never the champion.
Eva Marie was never the champion.
And number two, Mandy is the champion of developmental. That's like being the MVP of the minor league. Like, it's great. It's great, but you're not batting 380 for the New York Yankees. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like what they announced this week, Aaron and Chris. Summer League NBA is going to give rings out to the NBA Summer League champ. Nobody gives a fuck who wins the Summer League in the NBA. It's ridiculous. And it's the same kind of a situation. You're right. Developmental is what NXT is. Let's call it what it is. And so, and she had to come down to NXT to win a belt. That tells you volumes about the situation with your girl there, Mandy. So yeah. Anyway.
Also, Mandy generates natural heat.
Yes.
Like, she's, you know what I mean? She doesn't have to necessarily be a good wrestler. Oh my God, Aaron. But it's like she doesn't really even have to be that good. You know what I mean? It's just like she's just naturally going to get attention.
She's not even the best one in her crew.
Oh yeah, Gigi Dolan all day.
Gigi Dolan is the best.
Gigi Dolan's my favorite wrestler, by the way, guys. I don't know if you follow my Twitter at all.
I just love that Chris calls out Aaron, then Chris just jumps into his own Gigi Dolan situation.
Guys, Mandy Rose, Instagram, National Bikini Day. See you later.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. What's the next one here? JMB says, please feel free to pass on this question if it isn't the right form/show. But any thoughts on the end of Schmodown? And then it says, I was devastated when Rocha retired. You will never hear me admit it again, Rocha, but now I am heartbroken. You know, people got mad that I keep referencing the Schmodown show, so I've stopped referencing in it here in this show. So here's what I'll say. It's a sad thing, and I tweeted about it. It was a great run. It was a fun time. It certainly helped in my ascension in terms of followers, in terms of my status. So I will always, always be appreciative of the Schmodown. Was it always great? No. Was there a lot of bullshit behind the scenes for me, which is why I retired? Yes. But also, it was great memories, great matches. I got to know so many cool people. I got to meet so many of the great fans. And it's sad. It's sad to see it end in the way that it's ending so quickly. But I have a feeling we're not done with it this year. So I have a feeling Christian's going to have something cooked up for it for sure. So, Aaron, any thoughts you want to say about it?
No, I'm kidding. I think that the Schmodown made its run, and it was a good run for a long time. And I think it couldn't sustain the trajectory it was on. COVID be damned. Like, it was just, you kind of started seeing cracks, right? You started kind of seeing the cracks in the foundation. The viewership was going down. It happens. When it was good, it was good. When it was good, it was great. And then when it was bad, it was bad. And yeah, a lot of stuff happened behind the scenes that, you know, I'm long removed from it, so I don't really know what the current stuff is, but I can tell you at the time there was a lot even. Yeah. So I'm sorry for people that like lost a bit of income. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry about that.
Some people lost their job. And it's not a work. I've seen some people getting upset that fans are calling it a work. It's not a work. It's over. It's done.
No, why would you do that? Why would you end shows? But like, I'm sorry for my friends that moved to California to be closer to it. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It worked on the show. I'm sorry. And you're right, Zeno Hour. I just it gave me a voice. It helped John Rocha and I come together.
True. Very true.
So I'm always grateful for that. But
first as enemies, then as friends. Yeah,
then as friends. And now it's just time. Put it away.
Yeah. Krista, any thoughts on it? I don't know if you watched any of this stuff.
I mean, as someone who is like adjacent to it for a very long time, you know what I mean? Mark Ellis, great friend of mine from the Comedy Store days, and just being in the comedy world in general, it's like it was an inescapable presence. You know what I mean? You always heard about what was going on with the Schmodown, and you know, I would definitely tune in and watch you guys and be like, tag me in. Somebody tag me in, baby. I got useless information in my head. Let's go. And so, you know, yeah, it's super sad to see it go, man. But just from the outside looking in, I agree with you, Aaron. It just seemed to be, it's like ECW, where it just got too big to sustain itself.
Yeah.
It seemed like. And so, but much love to everybody involved and all the shenanigans that I heard about. Well, it's all over now. So
exactly.
Water under the bridge, really. Sad to see it go, but happy that it meant so much to everybody involved.
Yeah.
I know we're saving this for another time and another occasion, but can I just ask like 3 trivia questions? Like,
okay, all right. Can we hit the super chats first though before you
hit
ask?
them? Hit them.
Also, I do want to give a little love to myself. AZ Badfish said we beat no MTS without the Outlaw.
Hey, this isn't a super chat.
Truly the GOAT. Thank you, AZ. I appreciate it. But also Dave Langer keeping me humble, saying Dan Murrell's the best champion. Fuck you, Dave. All right, here we go. Let's see. We got one. Oh, sorry, we had a Streamlab come through. We just read this 2 super chats. So Christian Ramos says AEW can fix the tag division easily, make it a Ring of Honor show. They have enough talent to be on both shows respectively without hiring more people, and fixes the kerfuffle. Oh, nice use of the word of having too much talent on your roster. Also, Butcher and Blade for the Ring of Honor titles would rule. I think I'd have no problem.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. I like that.
That is a great idea, actually. All right. Liv is more over than Charlotte ever was.
Sit down. Sit down. You're just trolling.
This has become a bit. The chat is losing their minds. It's becoming a total bit. No, it's not real.
All right, go ahead. Do the trivia, and then we got to get on out of here.
Okay. I'm gonna.
And feel free to play along, everybody who's watching.
Don't put it in the chat, or I'll fucking
don't put it in the
block you.
chat though. Play along for yourself. Yeah.
All right. So Chris, Rocha, this will be for you guys.
How does this work? Who is one person going to answer first? Like, what's the deal here?
No, we'll just do like if you both you got a piece of paper near you, you got a marker board. I don't know. All right, okay. I'll tell you what. I'll just pick one and go. I'll just pick one and go.
Sounds good.
So first, I'll do Chris. Chris, you can go first.
Okay.
All right.
What wrestler ended Mr. Perfect's winning streak?
Brutus the fucking Barber Briefcase.
That is correct.
Wow.
It is Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake.
Wow. Shit. I might be in some trouble. All right.
Rocha, let's see here.
I like talking about it. I don't like memorizing it.
Let me get you one here. You'll like this one. This is an NWO question.
Oh.
We all know that Hall, Nash, and Hogan were the original members of the NWO. The 4th member was Ted DiBiase. The 6th member was, of course, Sean Waltman, or Six
Pac.
Who was the 5th member of the NWO?
Was it Rick Rude?
I'm going to give you another chance because active wrestler at the time, Ric Rude was not.
Oh, okay. I guess the only other. Shit. Fuck. I mean, I want to say Scott Steiner, but I'm going to say the Big Show. It was the Big Show?
The Big Show / the Giant is correct.
Yes.
He was the 5th member of the NWO. This is fun. Let's do a couple more. Okay, sorry. Chris, would you like the category of WCW, ECW, WWF, Women's Revolution, or managers?
Since I referenced it a second ago, I'll go ECW.
Ooh.
ECW. Question 1, 2, or 3?
Gotta go with 3.
Okay. Well, this is too easy. Who is the main commentator for ECW?
Joey Styles, baby.
That is correct. Rocha, same categories.
Oh my God. Yeah.
WCW, ECW, WWF, Women's Revolution, and managers.
I'm going to try WWF.
WWF. Okay. 1, 2, or 3.
Or the brand name change. All right.
I'll do 2 or 3.
I
2,
like
okay.
even numbers.
What fellow Hall of Famer did Jake the Snake Roberts legitimately knock unconscious with a DDT on the concrete floor?
Jesus Christ.
He wanted it. He said, do it to me. And Jake said no, but he did it anyway.
Fuck, I don't know. Savage?
That is incorrect. Chris, do you know the correct answer?
Why do I feel like Savage is close because isn't it Ricky Steamboat?
It is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
That was correct. That was in my head, and I was like, but I don't remember Steamboat fighting.
It's
damn it.
It's all good. Okay, we'll do one more.
Don't put the answers in the chat, everybody. Stop.
Hey, don't put the answer in the chat, you dick. All right, so Chris, same categories: WCW, ECW, WWF, Women's Revolution, managers.
Well, since I'm ahead, I'm going with managers.
Managers. Okay, question 1.
It's 2-1, JB, you old bastard.
Question 1, 2, or 3.
1.
Oh man, God, you got another easy one.
God damn it! This is just like FCL. Fuck you.
Who is the legendary manager of the Midnight Express?
Jim Cornette, baby. Let's go.
100% correct. John Rocha.
Hey.
John Rocha. Category, please.
What are the categories again?
WCW, ECW, okay. WWF, Women's Revolution, managers.
I'll try Women's Revolution.
Women's Revolution. What question?
3.
All right. Trish Stratus, WWE Hall of Famer, defended her women's championship in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 19. Name one of her 2 opponents.
WrestleMania 19. That's right after Rock and Hogan. I don't remember if she was still in the WWE at the time. Maybe. All right, fine. Mickey James. Any chance that's right?
That is not one of the answers. Chris, do you have a response?
Okay.
Is there any way to ask for subsequent information, like what year that was?
I don't think I can do that without being unfair to Rocha.
Okay. All right.
If you give me a hint.
20. Wait, no. 20 is back at Madison Square Garden.
We just had 37.
WrestleMania 18 is Rock and Hogan in Toronto, right?
Correct.
So then WrestleMania 19 is right after that.
WrestleMania 19 was in Seattle.
Oof.
Main event: Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar.
Trish Stratus versus. I'm gonna say Victoria.
Victoria is a correct answer.
Wow.
We also would have accepted Jazz.
Oh,
right.
Interesting.
All right, all right, one more and we're done. I promise. This is kind of hard. So this was the final round question as I had this set up. So
that was hard as F. I was just like thinking to myself, Trish Stratus main events, and that's the only reason I got it.
I understand Rocha's thinking too, because like immediately it goes to, well, it's got to be like Lita.
Right, because if it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania, it's got to be
big time.
Yeah.
The fact that you said triple threat is why I knew it couldn't have been like Lita or something like that.
All right, final Jeopardy. Ric Flair won the WWF Championship for the first time in the 1992 Royal Rumble as the 3rd entrant. The British Bulldog was the 1st entrant. What other WWE Hall of Famer was the 2nd entrant in this legendary Royal Rumble? Go for it. Whoever wants to answer first, go right ahead. I can repeat it if you like.
Sure, one more time.
All right. Ric Flair won the WWF Championship in the 1992 Royal Rumble as the 3rd entrant. The British Bulldog was the 1st entrant. What other Hall of Famer was the 2nd entrant? So you got Bulldog 1, Hall of Famer 2, Ric Flair 3.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I remember that one of the Nasty Boys came in right after him.
Not Hall of Famers.
And I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Who thought that was the right one?
You're going to kick yourself in the ass if you don't get it, believe me.
I'm going with – wait, I'm going to give Rocha a chance to answer.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead and answer, but I won't say if it's right or wrong.
I'm going to go with the $1 Million Man.
All right, Rocha.
Good choice.
Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man.
He always, for some reason, was like a.
Is he in the Hall of Fame? Is DiBiase?
Yes, of course. Come on.
I don't know.
It's offensive.
That fans gimmick.
Yeah, it's offensive.
Just trying to think who's in the fucking Hall of Fame.
He might have defrauded the entire state of Missouri, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Or Mississippi. I don't know. One of the two.
I think that was Favre who did Mississippi.
Oh, wow. Probably.
Shit. A second.
And also remember, like, this Royal... Sorry, Chris. Also remember this Royal Rumble, like, had a lot of Hall of Famers in it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. I think 19 to be
Was it Ultimate Warrior? I don't remember. Who was it?
It is not Ultimate Warrior.
Oh.
The answer is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. That is correct.
That's incredible.
That's correct.
It's Architect, baby.
As I said, guys, I like talking about it. I don't always.
Rocha, I can give you one more to redeem yourself. Just one.
All right,
You
fine.
sure?
One more. But
I
like
won't
Cinema
add,
Critic says, Sasha Banks carried Charlotte in every match. There you go. Which
Oh,
is
God. You want me to throw shit at you? Come on. All right. I will give you...
one last one because we got to go.
All right. Sorry.
I got other things.
Hulk Hogan
Oh.
defeated the Iron Sheik
Oh, God.
to win his first WWF
Look at
championship.
this motherfucker. Give me a 1-pointer. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, and
Who did the Iron Sheik beat to win
Bob
the
Backlund.
WWF championship?
God
That
damn.
is 100% correct. It was
Yeah,
Bob
that's-
Backlund.
yeah.
So there you go. Rocha
I
redeemed
remember I was the biggest Bob Backlund guy back then. Oh, my God.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Huge. Because, I mean, I'm a kid. To me,
Yeah.
he's the face, right? He's all-American dude, no frills, wearing the red tights, like all that, the walking out. I mean, all of that. And I remember San Martino had been
There.
the champion, and then Backlund kind of had taken over as the face champion from San Martino, who had that long legendary run. And so, boom, he came in. And when Sheik beat him, I was just beside myself as a child. Like, I was like, what? So when Hogan came in and beat Sheik, I was losing my mind when I finally saw the footage on WDCA 20 in DC on my black and white TV on a Saturday morning. Then they showed the highlights. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I was so distraught when Backlund lost, and I wouldn't be distraught again until Warrior beat Hogan. Then I would be distraught all over again. I remember that. But yeah, fucking. People forget how much of a face Backlund was. And when he came back with the bow tie and all that shit, he made it work, but it was never quite the levels he had as a face champion. So, yeah. All right. There we go.
Do we want to bring up why I did the trivia? Like, because we may have.
Sure, yeah, please.
We may have a Chris. We may have a guest with some trivia soon.
Oh, there may be a certain person who likes to hang out in the dark recesses of classrooms and Boweries and may or may not have an affinity for Clockwork Orange.
May have crucified somebody once on television.
May have crucified someone or hit them in the face with the stop sign. A lot of stuff. I mean, whatever. I'm just going to put it out there. Guys, Raven is coming soon to Strong Style. So get ready for that. And I think we're going to do some trivia with the man. So we want to give you a little preview.
What about me? What about me?
Johnny Polo himself.
I love it.
Former NWA and ECW tag team world champion, television champion.
Didn't he DDT McGillicuddy? Didn't he DDT?
Probably.
Yeah, with the whole thing. With
several times.
He was having a baby with Beulah, and then we found out it was Tommy's.
That's right. What about
Sandman's son against him?
Oh,
Damn
yeah.
shame.
I haven't talked. Chris brought Raven onto the channel 2 years ago. I remember a great conversation with Raven. Totally cool guy. And
Such a
so
smart guy.
looking forward to having
Vince
him be a
member.
part of it. So
He'll
yeah,
tell you.
we'll set that up and we'll announce it to you guys. Yeah, he'll tell you exactly. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's get on out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks for the Streamlabs and the Super Chats. Another fun show. Aaron, where can they find you, brother?
On Twitter at Only Aaron Turner. TikTok, we got over 1,000 members. Thank you.
Yes.
For 1,000 subscribers. We're here. We love it. So keep doing that. Yeah, find me there.
There you go. And Chris Burns, another fun show, brother. Where can they find you?
You can find me personally at Chris_please. I've actually started posting from the Strong Style Instagram account, and we've been getting more followers. We're about like 900, I think, right now.
Right on.
Nice.
So at Strong Style Live on the Instagram, Pump us up. TikTok, Instagram, like this video, make it happen. Let's go. Let's get it all going. And then
let's go. We got
the Twitter's dead.
Twitter's dead. Just
how dare you? We got 125 of you. Please make sure you hit a like on this video as we're wrapping up here. And if you're watching later, hit a like on this video as well, and leave a comment down below. We love reading your comments, even when they're combative. That's what you do in professional wrestling. When you're commenting, you leave combative comments. So leave those down there and help raise the visibility of the show. Yeah, hit a like on this. Share it on your social media as well with the hashtag StrongStyle. Subscribe down below and hit that bell button so you see when I'm dropping all the content we do here. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And later on today, we're dropping our spoiler review for episode 5 of Ms. Marvel from the Geek Buddies. So look for that as well. Then tomorrow, dropping the Twitch show we had with John and Wendy show tomorrow morning. Look for that as well. All right. Much love to you all. We appreciate it madly. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new live episode of Strong Style.